All right, welcome back to another Shop Class podcast episode. It's been a couple of weeks. It's summertime. Some of the teachers are back. Some of them are still on summer vacay, but pretty much the next week or two, it's on. And we got some special people in the house, but we're going to talk about our project from over the summer. Over the summer, we did an amazing system. It was our first time we met up in person for the podcast. So it was a Shop Class podcast meetup build up, and we did that in Taylorville, Illinois. So tonight we have Matt Bloomquist. He is in the house. How you doing?
Good. It was fun. Very excited to reminisce about it.
Yeah. So and Matt is a unique shop teacher. He's got a situation where instead of a shop class, they actually get a plot of land, build a house. They do this every year. So they got a whole bunch of houses. Sometimes they overlap. And in this case, there's a job site trailer that goes to the job site first. And we made an off-grid system, but we're going to get into that in a sec. We also got Duke Lazowski down in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. How you doing?
Good. Back in school, first week.
Duke's a middle school teacher. He's all about getting the kids exposed to the different types of tools available. Thank you for doing that, because they don't have enough middle school shop classes. I'm always teaching the ruler. So Duke's over there, like filtering the kids before they get to the high school. And then we got Tim Zavacki. How you doing?
Hey, everybody. Nice to see you again. I'm glad I'm getting to hang out with my internet friends.
And so Tim's over there, and Tim's over in Western New Jersey, Northwest, and he's in
Warren
Hills. Warren Hills. Damn, I forgot. Warren Hills, and he's an amazing woodworker, but he's taught pretty much every type of shop class out there. And yeah, the internet friends, it's amazing. This podcast has been going for about 4 years, and we finally had a meetup. So yeah, our internet friends got together. And then we got Nick over there. Nick's in upstate New York, Catskills area. How you doing, Nick?
Still on vacation. Leave me alone.
Yeah, so Nick teaches high school and video, and he's a maker, and he's an all-around pretty hardcore dude. Whenever he shows up, he's prepared. He's a Boy Scout. He always has a knife on him, so watch out. And then we got a special guest. We got Tom Summers, and Tom is a boat engineer. He's he knows everything about boats, but he also understands utility systems that are off grid. He calls it grid independent, and he's got one for us tonight we could talk about, as well as our off grid system. So, Tom, how you doing?
Yeah, hey, thanks. Nice to be. I see I'm in really good company here. Hats off to shop teachers everywhere.
All right, thank you. And so the main focus of tonight is, imagine if you were thinking about doing this, is like a kind of infomercial for off-grid or grid independent systems, how to do it. And we did it in 4 days, really 3, with like a 4th day of like tech advisement or whatever. But we did it fast. Panels, the Victron system, the wiring, low voltage, high voltage, DC, AC, the whole thing. We did it in what did we do it in 3 days, guys?
Yeah, somebody calculated the hours that we put into it, and I don't remember who it was.
40 hours. Nick did. 40 hours in 3 days.
40 hours.
Gotta be right. I mean, we were getting off that scaffolding with the solar panels at midnight just before the storm came.
It was like 18-hour days, or 16-hour days.
If we didn't put that time in that first day, I think we would still be there. Seriously, especially with that rain.
Plus, we got the blower door demonstration and a tour of Matt's house on one morning.
That's right. That's 100% right. Oh, cool. We got Peter in the house. Peter's representing Canada. And so we've got all the photos from the build. It's a very exciting build. The excitement probably has cooled off a bit because we're back, we're back at home and whatnot. But let me tell you, this was a big deal. I mean, we just started with like this was it. We had a crew. We got together. This was like one of the first photos we took. And also Greg from NIACC, which is that Nebraska or Iowa? Sorry.
Yeah, Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa, right. And we had, we got the crew together, and it was literally just, this is the scene, just to set the scene. We had, this is the off-grid trailer. It's kind of like a job site trailer. And yeah. And it's a job site trailer. And basically this is how we started. So
Yeah,
let's go.
welcome. El Rayo is a plastic bag. It's
Let me just mute Tom for a sec.
for the bus.
Okay. There we go. He's on the phone or something. So anyway, yeah, and we had a nice spot to work in. So I'll just set the scene. We just laid out all the parts. So I don't know if I don't remember if I finished saying what I was going to say, but basically, if you were thinking about doing this system, you definitely want to watch this episode. So stay tuned. Think about it. Stay tuned on this episode because we're going to talk about how to do this in a very short amount of time. The main thing that I would advise, is that you need a wiring diagram. And that is number one priority before you get started. But I had to do it while we were there. But these are the major components. So you have your servo, which is your brain, your inverter. We had two inverters because it was 110 and 110. That gives you the 220. And then we had we'll be on till 10 p.m. ish. Period. Jump on when you can. Period. Sorry, that was Todd Mendideer who helped donate the panels from Solar Landscape. That's it. Yeah. So Keanu's on. Oh, good. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we got some people joining. All right, so let's get started with Matt. Matt, how did you come up with this project idea? What was the premise? I mean, I know we went for it, but it's kind of like it's kind of your spot. So what do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, getting to know, you guys and Ron, especially getting into like electric cars, and then of course, I put a focus on the pretty good house model, and with the hope of net zero build. So we're looking to hopefully do solar panels on the house and for this next build and stuff. So to learn all this stuff was kind of intriguing and interesting. And then I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool if the mobile classroom, this could be like have a trial run, kind of learning stuff. And I don't know where those thoughts trickled in at one time. Maybe we got talking about it on the podcast one Wednesday night or something. But anyways, we were all at JLC, and I by this point I obviously had won the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools award, so that meant I had the extra funds. And it was me, Ron, Nick, and Duke. We're all out in Providence, Rhode Island, and hanging out. And I was like, and we just like, man, we should, I think Ron's like, we should do a meetup or something. And Mark Woolley was with us, and I was just like, you know what? I have an idea. And literally that was what, March, April, whatever, whenever we were out there in Providence. And I literally really fell all together kind of the week before. I mean, we had boxes coming in as we were showing up and stuff and materials, but yeah, it's something we just kind of started talking about. It was just something cool thought I had. And obviously we all wanted to hang out in person, and worked out good. I mean, I would say we learned a lot, and as far as we plan a next one for next year, making things a little bit more official and organized and whatever. But it all fell together. It was fun. It was I had said at one point, I think we did an Instagram live, is saying, we're all tired, but we're not tired kind of thing, because it's one of those things we were just so like, good thing Tim was like, no, let's just finish off this last row of solar panels. So thank God we made that choice, you know. And then it was like, all right, let's go eat dinner. We'll come back, even though it's like 9:30. We'll work for a couple more hours, getting this thing done, you know, before everybody had to leave. And yeah, learned a lot already. I'm still learning, getting comfortable with the system. It's working. It's, you know, it's not even fully 100% technically, but yeah, I guess it all just started on a crazy idea of wanting to hang out and build something with cool people.
Yeah, you know, I remember we were at the JLC, and I just saw so much momentum with the shop teachers. So, you know, part of the reason we do the shop class podcast is because the shop teachers are sort of like on their own, and, you know, the school system is a little disconnected, and, you know, checking boxes at the school is really not enough for the students and the teachers. You want to be excited about what you're doing. So I remember we went to a trades show, which is the Journal of Lightweight Construction, JLC, and it's so inspiring there. And we had all the teachers there. And so that's when I was like, hey, you know, we got to do an event. I just don't know how to do it. What should we do? And Matt was like, man, we got this Harbor Freight money. Let's build an off-grid system. And I was like, oh, dude, I don't even know how we're going to do it, but let's do it, you know? So that was really cool. And this is the photo of at night. This is the first day, right? This is the first day, and we got the panels.
First working day.
Yeah. Tim, what do you think of what happened on the first day?
Well, it was one of those things where I don't want to say we didn't have a timeline, but we didn't. And it was, for some reason, it almost just felt like everything fell into place. It was, you know, Nick and I were bouncing ideas off of each other, and Phil and Greg, Duke, not Phil, but, and then it was kind of weird. Like we kind of had to sit and say, all right, this needs to happen, but when in the process do we want to make that happen? And looking at the weather, we decided, you know, we had to make a decision that it was going to rain on, I think that was Wednesday. And then we needed to take apart part of the inside of the trailer. We had to expose the panel to start fishing wires through. We knew we needed to mount the board. So there was a lot of things that needed to happen, but without having a timeline, like in paper, it kind of was more like a verbal thing. So
Tim, what you're saying in true shop teacher fashion, we threw the lesson plans out the window.
Yeah, we kind of did, because
Never really even made the lesson plans. Just told administration we had them.
Yeah,
It's true.
And with this project, it was really interesting, because as we were working, we just basically started checking things off a checklist we didn't have. And, you know, I've never dealt with a standing seam roof like you guys have on your building there. So it was cool to experience that. I've never mounted solar panels, but having a diagram, knowing that we needed to get things done, knowing that we needed to put wires together, knowing that wires need to be cut, knowing that we had to cut ground wires and all that stuff, you know, it was one of those things where we had to get it done. And we just started knocking it off the list.
Yeah. You know, we've got some people that just joined. We've also got Keanu is in the house, and we've got Audrey in the house. And let me introduce them real quick. How you doing? Keanu, are you there? Let's give him a second. You there, buddy?
Hi, Mr. G. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm just coming to check out what you guys are talking about. It's super cool.
Awesome. You know, Keanu was there. He helped me create the wiring diagram, the preliminary draft. On the podcast, we had like a 3-week countdown, and he was on one of the last ones. I was actually a really busy summer. I was in California working on a bus doing something similar. We needed a wiring diagram. And that is like one of the most important things, but you almost don't have it until you have all your parts and the installation apparatus, maybe your vehicle or your board or whatever. So it was done on the fly. And Keanu was interested. And at first, am I right, Keanu? You thought, well, what do I know about solar panels? I was like, it's the same as electric vehicle. It's the same thing. We just got to DC in, AC out. There's an inverter in the middle, and you got to control everything. So what do you think, Keanu?
Yeah, no, it was when you first showed me, I'm like, I don't understand this. This looks like an ancient language. And then when I really looked at it, I realized it's just the exact same thing that we're doing, just in a different way. Yes,
exactly. So here's like the preliminary wiring diagram. I'll share it, but this is not the one that's done. So just so you guys can see what we're talking about. And Keanu was instrumental in California in helping to build the bus. We named him Mini G. He was basically the teacher's assistant. And if you're a teacher out there, I would advise you to throw away the curriculum and really just empower the students. And you could have one or two of your students become assistant project managers, which is a great skill to have. The teacher can't do everything. So I really appreciate Keanu's stepping it up to help out with the management of the project. That was awesome, man. You did a great job. Okay, let's see who else we got in. We got Audrey's in the house. Audrey, are you there?
I am. So we're getting through hurricane season in Savannah, Georgia right now. So sorry, I can't. My video kind of goes in and out, but I have to say the best part of this project was the videos that you guys sent me. And I can't wait to do a story recap on Offsite Dirt. Not only were they so fun, I think when you were able to finally turn on the solar system inside the unit, Ron, you jumping up and down and you guys all high-fiving each other was hysterical. It made my freaking day. So there never seems to be a task at hand that you guys don't seem to create or accomplish. It's pretty magical.
Oh, I appreciate that. We had such a good time. Even if you see in the background on the other video, even when they hung the solar panels and I was like, hey, did you guys get it all dialed in? And they said, yes. And I'm like, yes. Like I can't, to me, it's crazy that we just talked about doing this and we made it happen. It's not easy. We had to fly people in from all over the country, drive. Oh, actually driving. A lot of people drove as well. They drove like 12 hours to get there. And it was such an amazing thing. And then the video that Audrey's talking about is we were in the dark and we weren't sure if it was going to work and we're waiting for it to click on. So here it is. This is our reaction to the whole thing. I'll put it on. Yeah. Hold on. Let me get it on a better video reaction here. Let's get it to oh yeah, Chrome tab. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, that's gonna work. I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Nick, where you at? Yes, that's all. Okay, that's spooky. All right, so we're off of balance.
Dude, that was an awesome moment.
All right, so we're off of balance.
And I think it was even funnier. You guys were working you had to be working 15 or 18-hour days. And you could see it by the time nightfall comes and you guys are out there and you're just admiring your work and you could just see it in your faces, the total exhaustion, but you are so determined. You are going to make it happen. And it was so inspiring. Really fabulous work, really, really amazing job and just such a great success story. I mean, and it's operational, right? I mean, isn't the greatest part about this is that you have something to speak for and to show it. And I think the other thing that was really funny, of course, because I got to look these videos several times, which I'm so grateful for. But see the mini split with the air conditioning thing. So that was even funnier because they're like, it's so hot in here. And then the air's on and they're like, oh, it feels so good.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It
so
totally worked.
hilarious. So
You
funny.
really had no idea how humid it was and how hot it was in that classroom. And we were running in and out, and I was sweating like a waterfall. It was just, we just were determined to get this thing mounted. We were determined to get it to turn on. And the way we did it was interesting because we did it and we tested it in small bunches and small phases. And just the way it happened, it just naturally developed, which was really cool. And I think you can see that.
Oh, we got
Yeah.
Todd,
Well, what was really cool.
Todd Meditator's
What was
coming
really
in.
cool too, oh, nice. Awesome. What was also cool too, like you said, Tim, like we were testing the panels and we got excited because the panels created power out of the sun and we're like, oh my gosh. And then, we hooked up a golf cart batteries up to, whatever, and it was working. And then all these little testing systems, but it was one of those things other than Ron really working on, electric vehicles. And then Nick having a little bit of training in solar and stuff. It was really, it was all of us coming together and be like, okay, we have these skills. We could figure this out. Duke and Tim and Nick and stuff are laying out the panel, the panel board itself, that has all the inverters and everything on it. Ron was ordering fuses. I was our gopher. Everybody had their task and it all came together. And that video is really, like I said, Audrey, that video was kind of the, kids at Christmas.
I know, that's what I felt like too. It was so funny because here are all of you putting your brains together, putting this together and working together as a team. And then the final outcome was, I felt like it was young kids all together, just collaborating with the mission, and they did it. And it just made me so happy to see it. Really was. I wish I was there. That's how fun it looked.
Well,
I know it was a lot of work though. I'm seeing the fun part. I can only imagine the hours of agony going through all of that, because there's never any easy system going through building or solutions or creating these things, but fabulous, just fabulous.
So let me just introduce Audrey a little. I have a tab now. Audrey is the founder and I guess the CEO or runner of Offsite Dirt. And layman's terms from me, I didn't know what Offsite Dirt was, but basically, if you think about it, you could build a lot of the parts of the house, in a manufacturing situation, which has better control, and then you can install it. So, did I do a good description, Audrey?
I think you did fabulous. And I think our network, really, it's about a community and creating community, kind of what you guys have done through Shop Class and all these school programs, which has been phenomenal. So we're really kind of creating this community and network, not only of offsite or prefab or modular construction, but we're really kind of leaning more into high performance and panels. And also, we have a huge slew of events on our calendar, not only for offsite solutions and those types of things, but green technologies and traditional construction, because really we don't have a lot of places to go to create this unity and this inclusiveness. So that was really one of the objectives, and it just kind of spread to what you guys are doing. And I keep meeting more and more amazing college professors and high school teachers and shop class people. And it's very inspiring and makes me so happy to be included in this fine group of people, because this is how we change, and this is how we build, and this is how we grow. And you've done a great job. I was so happy to talk to you the one day when I was talking to you about my Jaguar, and you're telling me, I was like all excited. I call him up and I'm like, I'm so sick of repairing my Jaguar. It's a 1992 convertible. I don't remember the brand, But this car, nobody wants to fix because there's so many issues with it. And I just keep sinking money in it because it's the funnest car to drive. It was the least expensive car I bought, funnest car to drive. And I call up Ron and I'm like, Ron, I know that you can do battery operated things. I've seen you. So what if we do this with my Jaguar? And he's like, okay, yeah, let's talk about it. So he talks it through, and then he starts showing me these battery systems that are like $20 to $30 to $40,000. And I was like, yeah, we might have to put that on hold for a little bit, but it's so great to know that we can actually create something like it. So maybe in a couple years, I'm going to continue to, maybe I'll do a fundraising event and we could do a convertible, battery operated convertible. It would be super slick. We have a lot of planning to do, but this isn't about my show. This is about you. I just want to congratulate all of you on this team. It's phenomenal to see you guys in action. You make me so proud. I learn a ton from you. So thank you for always including us and, network us into what's happening with you guys. Really so grateful.
No, it's awesome, Audrey. I really appreciate it. I like you said, it's the community, and also just people that are listening. Yeah, people that are listening. It's not so much that you have to go electric. It's not so much that you have to do these things or that projects. It's just that you want to build community, and you definitely want to participate in what's available, your options, and you definitely want to measure. And that's something Audrey was talking about. You want to be able to measure it. And if you can measure it, you probably want to make it more efficient. So the bus project she's talking about and the electric vehicle project, just a highlight, and we're going to get back to the Taylorville project, is this bus right here. It's a Brazilian bus, and we were doing it like at the same time as the Taylorville project, which is totally insane. But it built, same thing, it built a community. There's all these people now that are all excited about this. They got to participate. It's like an engine swap, but from gas to electric. And same thing. You need a community to do it. You need a shop teacher involved. It seems to be a skill set, for those shop teachers out there that want to be a part of a big project. We're definitely going to do another project next year. And I think that you should join the community of performance houses and check out Matt Bloomquist. He's got when they build their houses with the students, they do it as measurable. It's not just hammering. Oh, you know how to use a hammer. Great. You'll be amazing. No. It's can you measure your efficiency of the house? And Audrey helps bring the right people together. So pretty cool. Let's see who else we got in the house. Did I miss anybody? We got Peter's in the house. Peter and Molinaire, how you doing? Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
Yes, doing all right. How are you? Good to
Peter,
see you back again, and congratulations on completing it, although without me.
Well, you were on the fence about coming,
Yeah.
And that is a long trip. You'd have to import yourself. There's probably an import tax on Peter's, probably a 50% rate. I don't know.
I would have liked to have done my duty.
What's that?
I would have liked to have done my duty on site there.
Yeah, you would have been great, but we'll get you on the next one. And this was the first of many. This is first annual. We'll do another one in the summer. I know it. Let's see. Who else are we missing in the house? Did we get everybody? Is Keanu still here?
No, I think that him and Todd both had to pop off real quick. It looks like they popped off.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Todd. Okay, so next time Todd jumps on, we'll try and get Todd real quick because Todd works for Solar Landscape, and he's the one who arranged the donation of the panels. Not everything got donated, but obviously when you look at a project like this, you're like, well, where's the money come from? But it's a multiple process. Some of the money came from a budget from a Harbor Freight win for Matt Bloomquist, and then some of the money came from a donation from a solar panel company in New Jersey called Solar Landscape. So we appreciate that. I'll see if he texts me or anything. We'll get him back on. I know everybody's always putting the kids to bed at this time, so that's the issue,
And then we had Matt Foley, who didn't make it, but was pretty much on call the whole time.
Yes. So Matt Foley, thank you, Matt, for reminding me. That's sunlight conversion. And he was great. I would call him in a panic, like, Matt, but this thing is not working because of this. And he would be like, did you check this? Did you check that? He's real calm, and that really helped. So that was good. But he's actually working on a boat. Matt Foley and Tom Summers have a lot in common. They do independent grid systems on boats, basically, except 2 different coasts, and they don't know each other yet. So let me just show you a little the website, and you guys could probably get in touch. So here it is. This is his boat, and that's how I met him, actually. He was on a YouTube channel, and I knew some of the people that filmed it. So they were like, hey, come along. And here's all his services and whatnot. And this is, I guess, probably not an updated gallery. Maybe it is. It's kind of cool. He has solar, and he doesn't pay for gasoline ever because his car's electric and his solar pays for that, And so it's pretty cool. He's also got this crazy Vespa that has it's an old Vespa, and it has a 4,000 watt motor in it in the back. Let me tell you, when you get on it, it goes, so it's pretty fun. So there's a lot of cool systems you can add. I mean, I like pistons as well, but you need options, this is just an option. Okay, so getting back to our project, like Audrey was saying, we were so excited about it. But if you want to know the technical part, I think we should talk about the system components, and then we can actually get a little tour from Tom Summers because he has a similar system on his boat. So let's do that. Unless anybody has anything to add right now, I'm just going to look for our photos from the system. Let's see.
And while you're pulling that up, Audrey, if you're still on there, I'll be in Savannah next weekend dropping off our oldest for back at SCAD.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad. Hey, if do you have my number? I hope you do. Please call me. I'd love to. Are you and your wife coming? Are you just coming by yourself with your daughter?
No,
or
yeah,
what?
it'll be my wife and then our oldest, Grace, who goes to SCAD. We leave Thursday. I think we move her on Friday, and then Carmen and I may be hanging around an extra day and stuff. So I may, I'll make sure I got your phone number and everything.
If I can meet you for coffee or on the riverfront or whatever is convenient, I'm literally like 15, 20 minutes from there. So I'd love to see you. That would be magical.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's it right there. That's the community that we're talking about.
That's what we're doing here. That's what we do, Ron.
Yeah.
Right.
I
me and
can't
Audrey
believe
has
it.
hung out in person before, though. So this wouldn't be our first time hanging out.
Yes, it will be awesome. I'm very much looking forward to that.
And I can't even believe, I just started by reaching out through Instagram to other shop teachers, and then it grew into the podcast, which grew into this nationwide community, and it's pretty amazing. Tim, so did you ever do a off-grid system before? What did you think coming into this?
No, the only experience I had was dealing with basic breadboarding of DC electronics in electronics class and making solar panel cars with kids and doing like a solar/battery powered vehicle that kids would run up and down in the hallway. And just to piggyback off of Ron and I have known each other for about 10, 15 years. So we've been in contact plenty of times before. And so we have some longevity together being part of the New Jersey Technology Education and Engineering Association. So, it is a small community. It is a great to branch out and start meeting other people across the country, which has been phenomenal because it's just opened my mind to so many things. And I'm sure just like everybody else.
Yeah. I remember when I first started teaching, believe it or not, I joined the Tech Ed Association in New Jersey. I guess it's called New Jersey Technology Engineering Education Association. Now there's like a million words in there, but basically it's Tech Ed Association, 18 years ago. And I joined it because I was shadowing a teacher, and they said, if you're really serious, join this group. And so I went there, and they were talking about failure is your best friend for learning. And I was like, whoa, that sounds right. We need to bring back the shop classes. We need to work together. And I was like, wow, this sounds like the right place. And it was actually Dave Janos. And he was up there giving a speech about bringing shop class back. And it's funny because the same speech happens every single year. And we always have a teacher shortage every single year. And every year there's a shop class that gets killed, or, I mean, maybe new ones get born, but probably pretty rare. So those shop teachers that are hanging on, join the community where the people that are left are having a great time. And I hope it grows. So shout out to the NJTEEA. But Shop Class Podcast is open to any state, not just New Jersey. And so we kind of built the community up. So pretty cool. And I'm so glad Tim joined us. I think, Tim, you were on the fence, right? You weren't sure. And we were like,
yeah,
we lied to him. We told him we were going to a Caterpillar tour, a factory tour. I thought we were. So, you know.
Well, you kind of didn't lie, but you did let me down.
But we got him out there. Yeah.
I had a phenomenal time. I flat out had that was probably one of the best things I've ever done. And I won a state championship with a baseball team in 2005, and that was a phenomenal experience. And this ranks right up there.
Oh, wow. That's so nice to hear, man. That makes me happy. You made my day, man. My week. That's awesome, man.
Well, part of this is for me being so negative all the time. This was really the best PD I have ever had. And, not even knowing that you were working and learning was one of the best experiences of this.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great to hear. I'm so glad to hear that. Even though I've worked on electric cars, I never installed solar panels before. I generally, when I was jumping up and down, I was like, wow, we put this thing together. I can't believe it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You buy a Victron system and it's supposed to work, but you still have to program the machine, wire it properly, make sure you don't electrocute yourself, make it safe. It's not easy to do all that stuff and do it in such a short amount of time. I mean, it was literally in boxes, and by the end it was working. So that's and we never done it. One of the cool things was, yeah, go ahead.
Now, was this the panel? Was this the good panel or was this the broken panel? That was because when we tested that panel and we were like, all right, well, that was giving us X amount of volts or however many volts it was. And then we said, oh, what happens if we tried a broken panel that we got? Because we got, 4 panels were broken. And then we decided to say, hey, let's give this a whirl. So we were learning as we were going. And it was neat to see. It was neat to just experience all that too.
Yeah, it's funny. This is going to sound naive or whatever, but I know solar panels obviously convert sunlight into energy, but I didn't realize how sensitive they are. Now, it might be because these new panels are actually really efficient compared to the older panels. But even the broken panels, the glass was broken because of shipping. They still worked, and they crank out 50 volts each. So we put a little electric motor on here, and it was going slow, and then we moved away from the shadow, and it went, it's pretty amazing what happened. So I was amazed, and it seems obviously cost prohibitive, but if you can afford it, it seems obvious to put solar in some part of your life, either your house or your car or your off-grid system or whatever. It seems pretty obvious now. Everybody should at least get on board with this because you got free energy there, it's just coming from the sun, and you can't tax the sun. So that's kind of a cool part, I always you can't tax outer space yet. They will, but not yet. So anyway, let's see. So let's break into the parts. I'm sure people hanging on or want to know about this. And then we're going to talk to Tom about his system. So if you look here, you got yourself your they call it the multi plus 2. Just forget it. Just forget the names. It's an inverter. It takes DC from the panel and turns it into AC, and it has a computer so you can talk to it. You can adjust the power. You can adjust all the things. And then we had 2 of them because you need 2 lines that are out of phase to become 220. All that gets hooked up together. I don't want to bore people too much, but basically you need to run lines, so your lines all hooked together. There's also a solar charger, so you're charging up batteries. Let's go to the end photos. That's probably better for displaying this. Here we go. Well, this is basically
and people seeing all the wires looking all crazy. That's all going to get cleaned up. We were definitely making sure we had wires connected for purposes of turning things on. So tomorrow and Friday, actually, me and the students are actually cleaning this mess up, putting boards back together, and making it where it's a safe, controlled situation to be in and stuff, and not uncovered. Right now, it's just a locked thing, so nobody can actually get to it. But anybody watching, this will all be cleaned up and very professional looking.
And what we did was we left slack in the line because he wasn't sure where he was going to put it. The whole panel, I would say, I think this was a good move. I don't know who came up with this. One of you guys thought of the idea of putting it all on a panel. Whose idea was that? That was great.
That was mine, but I think I got the idea from seeing Foley's little utility trailer they did with the mower. And so,
yeah.
And then Tim and Pete and Nick are the ones that really worked on the panel itself.
This was so cool. So once we had most of it wired up, we actually tested it with a golf cart. That was the funniest thing, is that what we would do is we had it on the ground here, and you could see that the golf cart had 48 volts. And so that was what we needed to run this thing. So we ran it on the ground first. I would definitely advise people that are working on this, do that first. And you can see the golf cart sitting here, and just use jumper cables, just go from the system over there. So you got to have DC going into your hooked up to your inverters. And then how are you going to charge your batteries? Well, that's what this does. The solar controller, in this case, they call it the MPPT 250. And all that does is just take whatever the solar panel is putting out, as long as it's above 48 volts, it would charge the batteries. And then as far as drilling the holes and the conduit and all that stuff, that's what Peter was asking. Tim and Nick did that. Tim, Nick, you want to talk about that a little bit? What was that like?
Sorry, what did I do?
Oh, you want to talk about drilling the conduit and getting from the panel down to the yeah.
That was all Tim.
Okay, nice. Tim, what was that like, man?
Well, there was really no issue. I mean, we used the hole saw, and we went in and we just lined everything up. We did some preliminary measuring and trying to figure out where the offsets were to get into the cavity of the wall so that we didn't hit a stud or come too far in or too far out. So, I mean, Matt and I did a little bit of preliminary math and kind of got an idea where the void was, and we just kind of used the hole saw and did it. I mean, and then we used some what was that? Some thick set stuff, the Sashco.
Through the roof.
Through the roof, yeah. We used through the roof to secure that in, and it was just snaking the wires through and bringing them down into the actual room, and then drilling a hole into the clad board or the bead board that Matt had, and start snaking the wires through that. So it took some time. It really wasn't. It looked more complicated than it really was, but knowing basic building construction and understanding how Matt and his students built the actual building did help, because there was some reverse engineering that needed to be done to try to figure out where does this hole have to be, because drilling a hole through the roof, you don't want to do that twice. And it just happened.
And is this the through the roof Sashco piece?
No, that was just a piece of conduit or PVC. Matt has that caulk gun, and that would be the through the roof product that was used to seal around that and attach the weatherhead to, or the weatherhead boot to the actual roof.
Nice. Matt, did you use Sashco products for this? Where did you use them?
Yeah, you know it. In this picture, we're using some of the Sashco's through the roof for the help with the boot sealant to the top and stuff. So I think we maybe used a little bit through the roof or Luxol down when we were mounting the board and stuff to the walls just for extra grip and stuff. So yeah, Sashco, shout out to them. They not only did we have some product that I had left over, they donated to us. They also covered one of our nicer dinners for the night that week and stuff. So
yeah, that was cool.
So
Very
one
cool.
of the good things that, and going back to the whole board that we mounted everything on, was we went with like a French cleat style system that was attached to the wall, and then that had a similar board attached to the back of the plywood, so that all the weight wasn't just basically being held on by screws. And it really made a difference, because once we got that massive piece of material up, it was literally just resting there, and then all we did was just jockey it left and right and go in and mark the locations of studs and start putting our screws in. So, to recommend doing this again, I actually would do the same exact thing that we just did when we mounted that, was to get a nice level ledger board on there and mount that up. And it really did make a big difference, because that thing is sturdy. I mean, it's not going anywhere, especially when that trailer is moving and bouncing and stuff. It is secured to the wall. And yeah, in that picture, we signed the wall underneath, and we mounted the ledger board and a couple spacers there just to get some height and everything too. So
we
that
even
was a
had
lot.
Iris in there helping.
What's that? Oh yeah, Iris.
We-
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. She's super cool. We try to involve, this is Matt's family, and one of the girls was interested in how we were doing this. So she hung out with us the whole time, which is pretty cool. So she's learning about construction at a young age, and this is Tim at his most serious moment. But no, this is good. They locked it in. And what's nice is that made it easy for, once it's on there, then we could start turning stuff on and hooking it up to the panel, because you want to get the AC hooked up to the AC panel. Just to review, you're going DC off the roof from the solar, you got DC in the battery, which is storage, and then you have inverters changing it over to AC. And if that doesn't make sense, feel free to give one of us a call. It's no problem. Now, we should talk about the batteries a little bit. In this shot, you could see that I forgot my glasses, because battery work is like, you got to be able to read, and I'm hitting September, I'm hitting 46, and I can't read close anymore. So I stole Iris's glasses. What is Iris, like 14? And I just stole the glasses.
12.
12.
But she has bifocals.
Oh,
right?
So
Yeah. So they worked out good for Ron for doing the technical work of testing all the for the ports or whatever for the batteries.
Yeah,
for the
battery
cable, for the BMS. That's what it was.
So it might, so if we could talk about the batteries a little bit, so it might seem crazy, but basically when you have batteries, they have to be in balance. And I don't want to bore anybody with like a full battery lesson, but just imagine, a flashlight has series, the voltage goes up, but they need to be balanced. So if you have let's say in a flashlight, old school battery, you have like 1.5 alkaline, then you have two 1.5s, that ends up being 3. But if one of them's at 1.4 and the other is at 1.5, you now have 2.9. And if you charge it, you're going to overcharge one and undercharge the other. So you really need to balance them. So I know it sounds crazy, but you have to have this board that has all these little tiny battery leads on them and these wires. And then this machine right here, this is a cheap internet one, but it works. This machine right here will balance them by burning lower the higher cell. I know it seems crazy and a little technical, but it's actually not bad. It's made easy with this system here. This is from Jehu. This is Jag35 is the company. And you just place this PCB board right on top. No cables, no wiring. No soldering. And you just place this on top, and it makes it a lot easier to assemble the battery packs, because they arrive like this, and then you need to connect all these batteries together in series, because you need it to go up to 48 volts. They start as 3.2 nominal. So I know that's a lot of technical jargon or whatever, but if you have questions beyond that, we can definitely, feel free. But I should give a shout out to Jehu, because that really saved us a lot of time. I'll bring up his website. What did you guys think of the battery assembly? Because I know Nick did a lot of that.
I like the specialty tool, Ron, that you had to manufacture on site.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
back to that last picture.
Oh, sure. No problem. Oops, right here.
He did provide a nice product with the batteries, and also nice YouTube videos on assembly as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right there, the big red one, right in the middle.
Oh, this one?
No, down, right in the bottom.
This one here?
By the blue cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Right to the left is your.
Yeah, you need to wrap your tools. I mean, that is
shock resistant wrench.
Oh yeah, that was a big discussion point, and have to insulate.
Yeah.
Matt, if you're missing any zip tape, you know where it went. And if kids are having trouble removing it, you can blame Ron.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
even, it's just part of the tool now.
Yep.
It's part of the tool. It's probably just easier to throw it away or scrap it and get a new one.
Yeah, totally.
Bill him.
Okay, Audrey, thanks so much. See you later. So over here, this is a really good website from Jehu. Jehu started with nothing. He basically is self-taught, but he's been doing this for a long time. And what he ended up doing was he makes these great videos on how to do this. So
build some batteries.
What I can do is
lithium iron phosphate battery.
You can hand these videos over to your students or the people you're working with, and it shows you how to assemble the batteries. And believe me, he's saving you time with no cabling and no soldering. Nick, what do you think of the system? It was pretty straightforward, right?
It was interesting, and having that PCB board all set up is definitely nice, and all the inserts that would connect them underneath, as spacers, having all of that pre-made and ready to go definitely helped.
Yeah, here they are right here. And Jehu's been building, he mostly does like Volkswagen buses, but he also does off-grid. He calls them, they're kind of like power walls, like what Tesla sells, but it's DIY. And so he shows you, okay, you need to put these bus bars in here. And I always thought the word bus bar is kind of funny. Like, what does that even mean? Bus bar. It's basically, instead of a cable, you now have a position where it's like a flat bar across. And so that allows you to carry the current, which is pretty cool. So then once you're done with that, you go ahead and you just assemble all the pieces, lock them down, and you have to be careful not to over tighten. It's lagging a little, but it'll get up.
You missed the part where he's putting the fish paper in between the cells. in case of
Yes.
friction.
I think I somehow lost the internet here. It's not catching up. But basically, the cells are live on the outside, so they have a plastic coating on them. But if you move or you adjust and those get cut for whatever reason, you definitely want a backup like piece of paper. It's a plastic. They call it paper, but it's plastic. I don't know why they call it fish paper, but basically, yeah, it's the same stuff a fish comes in. I don't know. Does anybody know why it's called fish paper? It seems silly to me.
I have no idea, but we ended up having to we didn't have enough. We had to go get talk to the sign making company locally, and they had pretty much like thin PVC sheets. That was our extra, I guess you call the belt and suspender system. There are suspenders that we put
So
in
you can
there.
take that trailer down to the Baja 500 and it won't rub those cells open.
Right.
Yep, bounce around in there. Yep, it'll be all right.
Well, that was also an interesting, basically engineering problem that we had to solve because, the problem was we didn't have any fish paper per se, and we were looking at other solutions to find a way to insulate these cells. We considered paper, we considered zip tape, but some of the thicknesses were not the right thickness, and then I pushed the cells further away, and zip tape wasn't the right size, and either you had to cut it or trim it or double wrap it. And we ended up, Matt having the connection at the sign shop, we decided that would probably be the best way to go. And when we got it pre-cut, it actually worked really well. So we did go through a nice little problem-solving activity to try to figure out what would work the best to achieve the solution we needed. And it really did end up working that sign paper was a good solution.
Yeah, that was perfect. So it's like you might on the fly, you might have to do something, and that's where Matt came up with a solution. Pretty cool. I guess your house building skills and management came in handy. So if you're someone who does construction, you could totally do something like this, even though it's like out of the norm. But I think it will be the norm going forward. It'll be pretty normal for a house to have a battery. Whereas right now that would be like super weird. But it's your backup, and you don't have to worry about, being when there's a blackout, you're not out, and no more generator making all that noise. Bah, I remember one time there was a blackout in New Jersey. I think it was, it was during Sandy or whatever, and I was the only one with a generator, so I'm making all this noise and my lights are on, but I'm the only one in the neighborhood for like a week. So I'm like, felt awkward about it. I'm like, we're gonna turn it off, and maybe someone who needs it, I'll give it to somebody who needs it. We were just running the fridge, but I think it'll be pretty normal to have a battery backup going forward. Yeah. This is the thing that's possible now. I'm trying to find here we go. I think I got it. Here we go. Okay, so there's the paper going in between, and you definitely have to put that in between the batteries. You don't want them shorting out. Otherwise you lose capacity, and potentially you could have a fire or something like that. So you definitely want to put that paper in. Yeah, so that's basically the overview. Go to Jehu's site for for stuff like this. He answers a lot of questions. He's got a lot of videos, and it doesn't have to be a 48-volt system. There's all kinds of stuff on here. Power walls, solar, charge controllers. He's got a lot of solutions for people, and everything he does, he tests with a heat camera, under stress. These are the things you got to do before you if you want to back something up.
Now, hey Ron, let me ask you this question, because maybe, and then this might be good for everybody listening too.
Yeah.
How did you get to having 3 48-volt systems or setups to power that? And then
yeah.
And then so that's question number 1. And then question number 2 is, what happens if we doubled that? So say we had 6 48 volt systems, how would that, or what would that do to the system?
Okay. So the way you have to think about this is, I don't remember exactly how much his mini split pulls, but we looked at his highest bill. And I don't remember right now. That's a great question. Maybe Matt has it. His highest kilowatt demand, like his worst day. Do you remember what that was, Matt? Oh, you're muted probably. Let me see.
11,
Oh, 11K.
I think. Because what was it, a range between like 3 and 11?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So perfect. Okay, so if you think about it, I know this sounds crazy, but 11K. So that means kill in watts, right? And so oh, cool. That's awesome, man. So if you think about it, like let's say you say 11K, so it's 11,000 divided by, you're running it like 110. It means you're pulling like 100 amps, and you did it over the course of a day, right? So how are you going to support that? What if it's cloudy, right, Tim? So what if it's cloudy out? You're going to need 11 kilowatts in batteries, and not all at once. It's got to be something over time. So these batteries together, the three of them, ended up being about 11K. And so Matt from Sunlight Conversion, he sized the system. It's called sizing the system, right? He sized it based on the worst day. Do you need to do that? Maybe not, because if you think about it, you'll recover the next day, and you might not have a full day of dark. Like let's say it's raining, it might not rain the whole day, so you're going to get a little bit of solar. So, and he's not going to use it at night that much anyway. So basically, the battery is sized for the worst day. So does that answer your question? I don't know if it did though.
Yeah, it does. I was just kind of curious why it ended up being three sets
okay,
of batteries in relation to the
the
system. And then what happens if you added, say, 3 more to this, if you will?
Yeah. Okay, so in order to answer this, I'm going to go to back to Jehu's website, and I'm going to show you the batteries that we used. They were actually from his site. So if you go to the menu and you look, we're going to do a little math problem. Tim, you got a calculator ready? Okay.
Yeah, I can get one up.
Okay, so if you go to batteries, right? It's a great question. That's why I'm going to go through it, right? So if you go to batteries, he's got let's see, hold on. Let me get the batteries going. We had, okay, I think I had the right. Oh, here we go. So each one of those batteries is 74 amp hours. Okay. But they're only 3.2 volts. So what you have to do is you have to say 3.2 times 74. So that gives you
236.8.
Yeah. So that's what they call watt hours. And then we need 48 volts. Okay. So let's clear it out. So we need 48 volts, 48 divided by 3.2. That gives us about 15. Right. But I think so that you don't have a voltage sag, he did it in 16 because it comes out, the brick comes out even. So it's 16 times 3.2. That gives you 51.2 volts nominal in name. They call it nominal in name. It's kind of like the middle. So that is what's needed to run the inverter if you buy the 48 volt inverter. Okay. But also to size the system. So now you have 16 times, we figured out, what was it, 238 watt hours. 238. So that gives us, that gives us about 3,800 watt hours, which is not enough for his worst day. But if you times that by 3, now you're over 11,000 watt hours. So the system is based on, first, I know that got confusing, not just for Tim, but like I'm saying for people, including me. If you start with the battery, 3.2 volts, because that's the chemistry, you can't change that. In series, to get to the total of nominal 48 volts or close to that. And then how many watt hours, I wasn't showing this tab, I'm sorry. How many watt hours or amp hours, and the amp hours times the volts gives you the watt hours. So amps times volts. So I don't know if that answered the question. Sometimes these go around in circles because it's difficult, but basically you have voltage and then you have amp hour, and then voltage times amps is watt hours. Did I answer the question, Tim? Oh, we got Tim distracted. Something's going on.
Nah, my wife our dishwasher destroyed something.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah, because we were, in the intense building project that we were involved, it was just, all right, this is the batteries, this is what we're doing. But there was really no justification for why we were going with 3 banks of 48. And, it was just one of those where I was kind of curious why we went with that. So basically, if we went with, so say you added 3 more batteries to that, you would just be doubling that. So you'd end up with 22 kilowatt hours. Right?
Yeah, that would be a big system. And just for real world practicality, Matt, what is happening? Have you ever killed the battery running your mini split yet?
Yeah. Because it was 100 degrees. It was 100 degrees this week or last week. And I left it on and didn't put, and because I was draining it back and forth. But I mean, that thing just on the one battery system, and that would have been, I came in there and it said low battery. So I don't know when it kind of shuts itself off, the inverter stop it, but it took 100 degree heat index with the AC unit running, probably a lot more continuous than it normally would on just a normal hot day. Because up to that point, I would run that thing and I'd go in and check it, run it all day or whatever. For like 2 days, it'd only go down to like 50% ish, 60.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe
40%. And that's on one battery rather than the 3 that we planned on. So that's only according to this is 3.9 kilowatt hours.
Yeah. So on kind of a normal summer day usage, if there was no sun or the panels were turned off for some reason, I could probably get probably 2 full days, maybe 3 days of cooling. And that's not super cold. Like the air conditioning, we're leaving set like a 76 in it, right? Just keep it comfortable enough. Heating, of course, we won't know until the summer comes around or the winter comes around. But that really hot one, I left it on, and that's when the nights weren't even cool, so it probably just ran a lot. So I would say probably 2 days of normal cooling time, just off one battery and stuff. So if you throw it in 3, if we're getting around 2 days, I mean, there's a whole week of the AC running probably there.
Now,
it'll be interesting to see. But and then also though, using the battery or using only half the solar and having the battery on those 100 degree days, it was only getting down to like 60% usage. I'd have to use the battery too.
So hold on, because we were doing a slow charge because we were trying to balance, you were only running the 3 panels. So that's not even the full capacity. So maybe the battery got killed because we weren't running the full capacity.
Well, the battery got killed because we didn't have any panels on. whenever we had half the panels in the battery on, it was only going down to 60. And I know this has nothing to do with anything, but that is what our moon looks like right now. It's a blue moon. If you guys have never seen a blue moon, it's enormous. That's
Wow,
crazy.
that's cool.
Like it's almost like daylight outside. But
There's
anyway,
schools over Kentucky.
Feel free if
supposed
you
to
want to
be
go
over
check it out. I get it.
yes, if you guys want to run out and the kids were like, Dad, you got to come see this. So I ran out there real quick. But
Oh, that's
probably
okay. Yeah,
pretty
go
cool.
for it.
So only
no, I
only
checked it out already.
3 panels are set up right now, or that are running this.
So we have to slow charge it. Whenever you drain it down, you slow charge it up, is what Matt and Ron were saying, to help balance the system.
Just
Because
the first time. Just the first time we were trying to get the machine because it only balances when you're charging. And I was worried. I wanted it to slowly charge up so we could balance on the way up. So it has time. If you fast charge, it doesn't have time to balance and then it shuts off. So I was like, hey, turn on one string because we can turn it off with a breaker. But now that if you're in balance and there's not too much deviation, you could run both panels, both strings.
Yeah. So right now I've only been running half the panels, but I don't have the AC on right now. But putting both panels on, like it charged it like in a hurry. Like it happened by the time I got back there. I think I only went for like the day, like the school day, and I came back and checked it and it was charged. Like,
wow.
Like it went fast with the full
Oh, so
go,
you're already
full
back up.
Yeah. And I've done this. I've cycled this thing around a few times, like letting it drain down and then slow charge it back up to help it kind of balance and stuff. I didn't check it. I haven't messed with anything. Right now it's just three panels of the 6 are turned on. Nothing in the mobile classroom is really running at the moment. So it's really not using energy or anything. So it's probably not doing much as far as activity from the battery and stuff right at the moment. Of course, here in probably about, we'll say 2 weeks, this thing will be on site. And then depending on how these next 2 days go, we may have all 3 battery systems set up. And then we'll start working on the trailer, the mobile trailer that attaches the other 4 batteries to it. But it's almost, at this point, I'm almost wondering if the other 4 is even going to be necessary, you know?
Dude,
I guess if I didn't want to run any batteries, I guess maybe that's where the other 4 maybe pick up.
You mean the other 2?
No, because we got 10 total.
Oh, the other panels. Right.
Because right now we just have six on the roof, and there was supposed to be a 10-panel system, with the 4 being on the separate mobile whatever, I guess, utility or flatbed trailer or whatever, I guess, the Harbor Freight frame trailer. And so yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like,
yeah, that is cool.
My other question is this then. If you're running the air conditioning during the day, isn't it just running off of the solar panels?
If the solar panels are on, they are. Well, so if I'm only using 3 solar panels, it's kind of using both solar and battery. Because then we figure up, Ron, that we think the battery's picking up when it kicks on.
Yeah.
That extra surge. It's picking up the surge.
It's it's doing the surges.
Yeah. But then what was happening too, as soon as it went nighttime, then obviously it's running off battery. And as soon as the day came back, then it started charging back up. And so it was one of those things where it was operating off of that, just off the mini split and stuff. Now, when it got really hot, and it was like I said, we had 100 for a whole week. We were in a heat warning of 100 and some degrees, 70% humidity. I mean, it was freaking miserable. And like I said, good thing that heat wave didn't come when we were there. We wouldn't be able to do it. It would have been unbearable. But so yeah, I think the system's probably, I'm not gonna say oversized, but it definitely is not undersized, like for what our needs are going to be. Now, granted, once we get on job site, we'll also be charging batteries off of it, so we'll be using extra power, and there'll be a little bit more usage. And anything that we need to plug or get any power off of, we'll draw off of this because we'll plug into the mobile classroom, use the outlets, because this will be our power source until we have power connected to the house. So it'll be the temporary lighting. It'll be the temporary power for charging batteries. It'll be all that until we have power connected to the house. And then again, it'll just go back to running itself, and also have a mini fridge running. And then if I ever use the microwave, which that'd be just randomly, but with the mini fridge running. So we will be using more power here in a few weeks. That would be a more normal usage kind of situation. So, but I think Matt sized this probably from just kind of what we've done so far. I think he honed it in pretty good. And I think I would be very shocked if we ever have any power issues, whether it's coming from the panels and or the batteries.
Got it. Yeah. Let us know, what happens. I think what's kind of cool is that you're safe. If you run the battery down, the Victron inverters shut off, or the battery management should shut off. So you're protected on two machines. You never want to run the battery to the bottom. I think 2.5, 2.4 is kind of, I can't remember, is on lithium iron phosphate. But you could always charge up. And like you said, when he turns the breakers on for the solar panels, it charges up fast, which is amazing. I remember it pulling 40 amps on a charge on a 48 volt system. That's pretty good. That's pretty an amazing amount. And what was cool is they hooked it up so that this panel right here, where my mouse is, you could just flip on 3 panels that are in series or 3 panels in series on the roof. So you could decide how much you want. Pretty awesome. So it's getting towards the end here. And what I wanted to do is, we have a little more time. I wanted to talk to Tom a little. And, Tom's got a similar system. I want to know his thoughts about his system and how he uses it. He uses it on a boat, which is pretty cool. So, Tom, what do you got for us? You want to explain, maybe, your system and why you installed it? Oh, you got to unmute yourself. We only muted you because you were on a phone call, but you're the one who has to unmute it. Otherwise, I would push it. Should be somewhere in the middle. Like if you hover your mouse over your picture, probably. Yeah, if you just hover your mouse or click on your picture. Nick, does anybody know how to do this? Let's see. Probably got to just touch your picture and you'll see how to unmute it.
Pushing the space bar works too.
Oh, space bar. Try the space bar.
Click on the black bar at the bottom.
Oh, he's got an iPad.
Okay.
No problem, Tom. We're gonna figure this out. Tim, any suggestions on how to unmute Tom?
I don't know. I don't usually. I'm on a computer, so I don't know iPad for.
Okay.
Google Meet. Sorry.
How's it now?
Oh, there we go. You did it.
All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, before I start, I just wanted to say something to Tim about doubling the size of the pack. And by the way, sizing your system is critical to the whole ball game. Yeah, you could add another battery. You don't have to like double. You don't have to add 3 more. You could add 1 more or 2 more or any number more, because you're going to still stick to 48 volts. It's a 48 volt system, and that, yeah. This whole thing is a numbers game, but oh, what happened?
You're there. We can hear you. I put up photos of your system, but I could.
Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna show the camera.
Oh no, go. You can do that. That's probably better. Yeah, keep on talking.
Okay, so is my camera on?
No, for some reason it's not. I don't know why.
So good. We
Yeah, I
got the
just
audio.
lost my
We got audio though.
I lost my screen and everything. What did you
Oh
do?
wow. I don't know.
So,
I didn't do anything.
I know I'm the odd man out here with a freaking iPad on a boat, but I'm just
No, you're cool.
I'm not conventional at all. And
Let's see. I'm trying to find out what you did there. But try and let's see. Jump into room for the call. Add as a co-host. I don't know. Did you go to the back camera? Maybe that's the problem. Go to the front camera. Did you change the camera?
let's see. Oh, I might have it again. All right.
Perfect. We're
it.
back again.
There you go. You're back.
Okay. So yeah, this is the very first time I've done what do you call this? This is Google something? Google Rooms
Yeah, Google
or
Meet. Google Meet.
Google Meet. Is that
Yeah.
like laboratory grown meat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
What's the matter
eating.
with grammar? MEET. Meet.
Yeah.
MEET.
All right. Well, so I got this iPad here, and I'm gonna try and get the camera to show you first of all my display. Can you see my display?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. You got to go closer, but sure.
Okay. So I'm at 95% state of charge right now. And this is my solar thing right here. So I got 60 watts coming in. It's just basically sundown here.
Sundown, and you're still getting 60 watts. Amazing.
No, actually 20 watts. Sorry. Anyway, so one of the things that I heard you guys ask, somebody asked about, will the solar run the batteries, solar run the AC by itself? And the thing of it is you're losing a lot with your inverter. It takes energy to run the inverter, and then so I've got a DC panel and an AC panel, and so my battery, which after today's sunshine, which is a sunny day today, I'm at 95%. So I can run this thing all night, and tomorrow I'll probably have 70%. So it'll actually get up to 100% again tomorrow. The thing is, I sized my system to be able to run an air conditioner all night long in the tropics.
Right. Vital.
Yeah. So first, I'm gonna set the iPad down, and I'm gonna show you my battery setup.
Okay. I have some photos. Yeah. We're there, but we're looking at your ceiling.
Yeah, I know. I got my hands full, but
okay. He's taking the bench seat top off, and because his stuff is down below the bench seat. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So a generator used to live here, but right now, these 3 Victron 12 volt. My boat is a 12 volt system. I stayed with 12 volts, so my wires are thick. That's the beauty of going with bigger voltage, is you get to reduce the size of your wires. So here, I don't know if you guys can see this. I should have done this on my phone, but so I've got my charge controller down here. And I also have this thing down here, the white box. That's my smart. That communicates my main engine and my battery bank to charge my system. So I don't have just solar. I've got 800 watts of solar panels on my top of my cockpit, but I also have underneath here, which is where my engine is, 260 watt or amp alternator. So I can run my main engine and charge my system. I can also charge my system from shore power, which is right here. So if I turn on shore power, pretty soon the red box will light up. And
now, Tom, for the layman's out there, for the non-boat people, I know it sounds silly, but shore power, what is that?
well, it's not just boat people that use that. Van people use it too. They call it wherever you plug in at. It's called shore power.
Okay.
And by the way, there's a lot of van lifers that are building these systems, and they're all using Victron. Victron is the go-to stuff. So as you can see, I've got 135 watts coming in from shore power, but I don't really need it. And I think tomorrow, I think for the next couple of weeks, I won't need any shore power because it's still summertime. The sun has a long duration in the sky. The weather's pretty clear here in San Diego, and I don't have a great deal of load. Anyway, this is the 1200, the 12 volt, 3000 charger inverter system. So yeah, you guys see the size of those wires?
Oh yeah, larger wires because more amps, because the wattage is probably the same. So if your voltage is lower, your amps will be higher, and if you have higher amps, you need a bigger cable.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I have is I've got these 3 Victron batteries, 12 volts. They're 330 amps each. So there's 990 amps of storage there times 12. So, you know, almost, what is that? About 1200 kW.
Yeah, right? That's awesome. There you go.
Yeah, it's not just too dissimilar from y'all's system that you put together. So I think there is more similarities than there are differences, even though 48 volts is significantly different than 12. Actually, it's better. So
nice.
And now we're starting to see more and more 48 volt systems. It's becoming the optimal voltage. As a matter of fact, I hear Tesla's even talking about going 48 volts for their house system.
That's cool. You know what's great is that if you think about it, you have a generator or a diesel generator on your boat, you're in the same space with it. That's where you live. You're living or sleeping in a space with diesel fumes. And so switching over to electric is kind of like a no-brainer. And there seems to be plenty of solar and plenty of power. Tom, are you living compromised, or do you still make coffee?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I totally relate to this podcast because I built 2 houses as an owner builder, and I made them as energy efficient and as close to net zero as I possibly could over the course of 2 decades. I commissioned my first solar system in 2003. And let me tell you, making a house net zero is a mission. It's difficult. It's a fool's errand in a lot of people's minds, but I don't think so. I think it's completely doable, and I've managed to do it on my tiny home, whereas on my 2 full-size houses that I built, oh man, you can do it if you throw unlimited funds at it and if you spend unlimited amount of time tweaking it. But I'm a single guy nowadays, and I didn't need a big house. I'm getting tired of climbing up and down the stairs. I'm getting tired of being the maintenance guy for the house next door. I'm tired of being a landlord. So I sold out at the top of the market there about 2 years ago, and I'm happy as a clam on my boat here, doing crazy projects with you guys. By the way, Jehu and I go way back. We're VW people from years ago, and these vehicles just really beg to be converted. And Yeah, I think what this project that we did this summer, even though it was interrupted, it was actually a needed interruption, Ron. You left us to our own devices for a week there, and our guys really came through. You guys talked earlier about collaboration, and one of the things that I discovered early on is there's a lot of synergy when you put two or more people together. It's definitely greater than the sum of the parts, and we proved that with the bus. We proved it. You guys proved it on this project, and I think that's I don't know. That's how shops work, isn't it? Don't you guys utilize the kid multiplier principle?
Yeah. I mean, if you're, hey, what's up?
Yeah, kids. We need more kids.
Yeah.
Once we get here towards the end, I got a video pulled up to show for everyone that I think everybody will enjoy. That Ona, my daughter Ona, there, and my son Liam were teaching Ron some tricks on trampoline. You guys all enjoy.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Yeah, we right about this time we could use an ice cream run with the kids. That would be awesome. But this is good. Yeah, I appreciate it, Tom, showing us the system. It's a real thing, having your an alternative system. I like options. Even when I go to car shows with electric cars, people ask me, what is this thing? What's the range? Basically they're asking what compromise are you making? And I just say, hey, it's an option. It's not for everyone, but it is an option, and it's a really good option. And I just drove across the country with a Tesla and back, and no issues at all. But it's just another option, which is kind of cool. And as far as the collaborative process goes, if anyone was thinking about doing a big project and you think it's going to benefit a lot of people, don't be afraid to dream big, because these two projects, the Taylorville project and the bus, I really didn't know if it was possible. But when you plan ahead, even if you don't have all the bits and pieces, when you plan ahead, you really can pull a lot of people together. And Tom's one of those people. He really helped make it happen. And as far as the Taylorville goes, Matt, enormous. He spent some money, but it wasn't like it didn't break the bank. What do you think you spent total on the system, Matt? Besides, like, if you just don't count the donations, but that was only the solar panels. So what do you think you spent on the system?
It had to hit 10 at least. Maybe, I don't think it got all the way up to 12. Maybe it might have got to 12. I don't think so. But with the panels, though, we would have been well over 15, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, so it would have been about 50.
What size panels were they, by the way?
Oh, what were the wattage or whatever?
Oh, 450 watts per panel.
Oh, yeah. Those are the latest and greatest.
Definitely. Definitely. Sensitive panels.
They pump it out, man.
But you guys don't have to go to the latest and greatest. As a matter of fact, a lot of outfits, when they buy the new stuff, they blow the old stuff out. And these things last for a long time. And sometimes you can get some killer deals on just the next level down. Like I bought 405 watt panels. Gosh, I think I paid $200 a piece for them.
I was just looking on Facebook tonight, and I think I found they were 235s or 285 watt panels for $50 a piece.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Wow.
And the same thing goes for the batteries. Jehu will hook you up on all different kinds of batteries. I was really impressed that you went with a standing beam roof, and they've got some really fancy little fasteners for standing beam. So those are not cheap, but I'm glad to see that you guys went that way. That's a really high class way of going.
And I'll tell you what, we went through it's 5S or S5, whatever the website is, and that little system. I mean, each thing, man, it's not as expensive as you'd think, especially if you compare it to how easy the install is. I think all of us up there, Duke, Tim, I think, and then Nick was bouncing up and around with us too, putting those things up there. And then, so, when we bonded them together with the grounds and everything, and we bolted them on. And then I was on the website looking for some other stuff. And then I found bonding cables that just clip onto the frame. I was like, what the heck? I was like, I was trying to found them. Like, I mean, our system that we worked for the grounding on them to the panel worked out great. And we had a system and it was fine. It wasn't, I wouldn't consider it. That was the most challenging part, which wasn't even that challenging. But their system of attaching to about any profile of metal roof, they have figured out. And if you have a standing seam metal roof, you already got your rail system. So
Exactly.
The second row, the second three we installed literally in 20 minutes. And that was, at best. The first row took us a little figuring out, but once we did the second one, it was done.
Yeah, it did. The first row maybe took about an hour, maybe a little more than an hour.
Yeah.
But this was, once and now we're just talking just installing them on the roof. We did do some math to calculate center lines of the roof to see where they would fit and getting the panels of the size of the panels so that we knew where they would be, and then jockeying them left, right to know where they need to fit on the actual roof, because we didn't want to have any panels cantilevered off of the end of any part of the building.
Right.
And we know we had to have access to the conduit from the roof going down in. So we found the centers of the roof, and then we kind of worked from there and did some rough placement. And once that was established, that took some time to do. But then once that was established, it was like an hour for the top, and then literally maybe like 20 minutes for the bottom.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Interesting build. Can you tow that thing with one full size pickup, or
Yeah.
what does it take?
Well, mine's a Ford F-250 running on 7 cylinders, and it pulls it. So
This is such a great, and there's such a need for.
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, there's such a need for this kind of thing, because sometimes it takes a while to get a power pole put up at a construction site, and any work that you guys can do while you're waiting for those kinds of services and permits to be delivered just puts a contractor so far ahead. I don't know why more people are not doing this. I think a lot of the problem is a lot of people just don't realize that it's doable.
Oh, it's very doable. And the thing is, this is on a mobile classroom. This could have just been put on a flatbed trailer with brackets. You don't have to build a mobile classroom with a roof. Like, in fact, the other 4 panels that we'll have will be on a Harbor Freight trailer that costs $500. So it's one of those things.
Still going to do that, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, A, we got the panels, and B, it's why not, right? The kids will get to do it. It'll be a fun little project. Like I said, I don't feel like it'll be I got to get it done right away for us to function by any means. But no, it's cool. Like you said, Tom, we can literally just pull that thing, park it on the lot, and bam, we got power. There's no pole. There's no overhead wires to jockey around or worry about when you're booming trusses that you have to dodge, coming off the overhead cables, or if you're on a spot where you have underground cable, you don't have to bury anything. We will bury a ground rod. We'll put some kind of ground rod in tied to the mobile classroom for grounding purposes. But other than that, and they'll be able to pull out and put it back in and stuff. But otherwise it's pull it, park it, and heck, driving down the road, you can have the lights on. It don't matter. It's working no matter where it's at.
Yeah.
I'm in conversations with a well-known West Coast three-wheel vehicle, electric vehicle manufacturer. Ron,
Yeah.
can I
Yeah.
mention names? Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, one of our ideas is a shipping container that could haul three or four of those vehicles, a complete solar system, a battery storage system, and all of the hardware to set it up on site somewhere, and go into business. And when the whoever owns the property decides that they've had enough of us, we can pack that thing up in 24 hours and move somewhere else. This is a concept that's going to get.
How would you even get your boat like that?
I don't know.
It's going to get replicated. I would be surprised if you don't have other general contractors asking you, "Hey, where can I get one? Can you build one for me?"
Yeah, that would be really cool. Matt, I muted you for a second. You can unmute anytime you want. Well, this is awesome. That we're hitting the kind of over the 2-hour mark, and I'm sure people are got to get to bed and stuff like that. And then also there's a blue moon out there, so go check it out if you still can. And then the other thing I would say is normally we stay on a lot longer, but I actually got to get down to DC, so I'm leaving early in the morning. I'm going to see my first student, my first class from 18 years ago. One of the students is being sworn in as a naval officer. And so he asked me to come down and see him get sworn in. So I'm getting a Pentagon tour. It's pretty wild. So we got to leave early in the morning. And but that's the thing is we're really the main thing. I think Audrey hit the nail on the head. It's a community. Yeah, there's panels, there's this, but if everybody's working together, just think about a project you want to do and pull together a team, and it's really an incredible thing. I mean, I feel like we uncovered a superpower. Just teamwork. Duh. Seems obvious.
Absolutely.
I mean, like Tim was saying, I didn't even know that, but that's pretty impressive, Tim. You were on a baseball team that won some awards. I mean, I know what that's like. I was on a high school team, but we didn't take it that serious. But that's pretty cool. I mean, that's what it takes. It's like a superpower when you pull the right people together, Pretty cool. Tim, what was that you guys won? It was a championship?
Yeah, we in 2005 was coaching, and the team went all the way through the group, which would be a Group 4 state champion in the whole state of New Jersey.
Wow.
So,
that was a high school team?
Yeah, it was a high school team that I was coaching with at the time. It was awesome. It was phenomenal. We got the full emergency vehicle, parade into town. It was escort. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Cool. And also Matt, you played on some teams, right? Did you guys win some awards? What can you tell us?
We were a good team. Unfortunately, we did not. We got knocked out in the second round of playoffs, but for football wise, but my Iris's sister, the next one up ahead of her in the sibling lineup, Camille won 7th grade championship basketball. Was that 2 years ago? Freshman, yeah. So 2 years ago and stuff. And yep, the whole come in town, go up around the square, which you guys have been there to the square. And
the square is great.
Yeah,
Taylorville's like an underrated town, man. I never heard of it until we went there, and we went out for dinner in Taylorville. It was a lot of fun, man. Everybody's super nice, and it was great, man. This is us out to dinner. We had a great time.
Eating the horseshoes and
Still,
yeah. In fact, Carmen and I just went to Nesty's and ate the other day, and we had the same waitress. She's like, "Oh, you're the one that had everyone got the horseshoes."
Yeah. And what the hell's a horseshoe anyway?
So horseshoe is something you won't really know what it is unless you're in central Illinois. You literally have to be, I'm going to say, about a 50-mile radius of Taylorville area. It is Texas toast, which is just a thick bigger piece of bread, toasted, lightly toasted. Typically hamburger, but you can literally put any meat that you want. Your fries get stacked on top of that. And this is all open face, by the way. And then usually some kind of cheese sauce. It's a big debate whether you want white or yellow cheese sauce or white cheese sauce is the best. And then people spice it up. Like I said, I had the buffalo chicken one, I think. Nick had a monstrous tenderloin one. I forget what Duke's.
Pictures on there. Pictures on there.
Is there a
Look
picture?
at Nick's big smile.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, right there. There's Nick's was Nick's honestly was probably like a pound of meat. Yeah, that's a horseshoe, man. It's
and I had a burger.
Yeah, and Tim had the cowboy burger and stuff. So but yeah, the horseshoe. There's literally restaurants. Man vs. Food has done one out of Springfield, Illinois, which is just up the road from us. And did highlighted the horseshoe and yeah. So yeah, if you guys ever in Taylorville, I take everybody out and have a horseshoe and stuff. So
yeah,
and then yes, we did. If anybody's watching, you can see that we had special guests in, and we ran over to the building trades house and did a blower door test with Joe Konopacki, and Mark Willie was in town, and we did a tour of the house and highlighted our pretty good house, which I would say this house is close to a net zero ready house, I guess would make sense to kind of what we've been talking about tonight. So somebody all they had to do is throw enough solar panels on this thing, and they will probably take care of their power bills, or at least pretty darn close. Yep, there you go. That's the book, Peter. Very well insulated, has ERV, very tight. We were running a blower door. We showed everyone how to do a blower door.
That was a cool highlight. Yeah, this house right here was built by high school kids as part of.
There you go, Tom. Here's our high efficiency, high performance housing. We'll call it high performance.
Loving it. Love it.
Yeah, it's super cool. Well, let's wrap it up. I don't want
to, hold on, Ron. Before we go, unshare your thing. I'll share one thing real fast.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So after everybody left, Ron was the only one left in town the very last day, as we kind of went through technical stuff, and then of course, Ron came over, had dinner, and at our house that night, played basketball with my kids, and had all kinds of fun. And we have a trampoline in the backyard, and so of course my kids wanted to get Ron on the trampoline and teach Ron how to do a backflip. So can everybody see this? Oh, hold on here. I guess it's loading. I'll mute mine. There is some sound. Yeah.
This is my best attempt.
Oh.
I almost broke myself in half.
Little Liam over there, he thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Ron did not die, obviously, as you can see. Yeah, that's how we had to finish off the week after you guys all were driving back home. There was a pretty intense basketball game in our back patio or back drive or whatever with Ron and the kids while I made some food, and yeah, it was a awesome week and stuff. So
so you got a chance to babysit Ron, is that what you were saying?
But that's what we told the little kids. We're like, hey, watch Ron for us.
Oh man. Yeah.
Ron, how many days were you sore after that?
Oh, just from the jumping around. Oh my God.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
How like, what's the big deal? And they just,
Yeah, Oda and Liam were just knocking them out, and then on the drive down to the airport, we talked to Barbercheck almost the entire drive down. Talked to him on the drive down. So yeah, that was a awesome week. Definitely I mean, you guys saw how busy. I mean, I still had family stuff I had to tend to as the week went on and stuff. But to pull that off the week before I went back to school, obviously, we'll I don't even know what we do next year, but yeah, this was great. I appreciate all you guys for coming out and doing this. I can't wait to do next thing. I don't know. We'll go down to San Diego. Go let Tom take us out on his boat. Sounds like a good idea.
That would be awesome. That would be so good. And by the way, we're going to have another get together next summer. We're going to do, haven't decided on our project yet, but it'll be something exciting. So you guys are invited, and thank you so much for letting me hang out with you. You give me a lot of faith that our youth are in good hands.
Yeah. Well, Tom, I think people should take the example. Basically, when I grow up, I want to be like Tom Summers. And
be careful.
Tom's retired, but he is very active in helping organize communities and lead by example. He does both. He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk, and it's pretty amazing. So he's basically a shop teacher at heart. You're like an honorary shop teacher. And so we're glad to have you. And just to float an idea for next year. I don't know if we could combine the ideas. I'm not sure what we're going to do next year, but in the California, we're thinking about doing a land speed record car. We're not sure yet, and then we'll see what happens as far as developing it. But we could come up with something. We're definitely doing another shop class podcast, meet up, build up for sure. So if you're still listening, I think a lot of people listen to the podcast. I haven't checked the Spotify yet, but we're on Spotify, and we got a lot of updates. The classics are up now. The original episodes are now on the YouTube channel. Well, one by one. We got Stephanie's helped me out, and she's uploading. So the classics are going to be there. Anyway, yeah. So that's the Shop Class Podcast. Meet up, build up, review. Pretty cool. We don't know what we're doing next week, but maybe we'll talk about the summer bus build. That would be pretty cool. Or we'll have a guest on soon. And yeah, so I'll just give you, I think this is actually right here. This is the I'm not gonna play it, but this is the playlist on the YouTube channel, and we got the 3 weeks, 1 week, 2 week, 1 week, and then I'll put up the episode. And this is a pre-lockdown online teaching preparation from 2020. This is when Barbercheck and I started this thing. And it's just amazing. It was literally just two shop teachers on the internet got together, and now look what it grew into. It's unbelievable.
I think
so. Anyway,
I think I was on that one.
Oh, you might have been. Let's see.
I think I was on that one.
There
It was
a few
early.
that were
It was early.
These
Maybe-
are yeah. Yeah, this one's just
Maybe
us for this one. We didn't figure out the guest part of it until a lot later. We would just pick a topic and talk about it. But I think that's the way to go. A topic or a guest. That's what we do every week now. So, and we're on Spotify, which is also video. We have YouTube as well. All right, I'm gonna kill the recording. Thanks so much for everybody being here, and that was super awesome. Shop Class Podcast for life. It's awesome. All right, thanks everybody, and we'll hang out for a minute, but recording, and we'll see you next week.